Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. Sinner's blood descendant, filthy blood flows through your body. You are just like your ancestors, shameless and without virtue, except death. Ning Chuan roared. You so-called dog fart 6-crown king, if you want to die, I'll grant your wish. Shahao's eyes released cold electricity. Both of them displayed secret methods, displaying the most powerful attack. Suddenly, Shahao released a grunt, his entire body becoming golden, releasing divine auspicious brilliance, turning into a heavenly dragon, and charging forward. Not good. Ning Chuan's expression changed. The precious technique he released was actually disappearing with the wind, breaking down, quickly disappearing, unable to reach Shahao. Magical immunity. This was a strange method, and right now, it displayed astonishing ability, immediately causing Ning Chuan's heart to churn, his expression changing on the spot. Shahao had this type of ability, but after coming to Immortal Ancient, he never truly used it, because he was waiting for an opportunity, leaving it behind for a guaranteed kill. If he casually displayed it, others would be on guard, difficult to truly display its exceptional effects. Only when he ran into Ning Chuan today, when both of them had already fought bloodily to this extent, did he suddenly display it. Sure enough, all of the precious techniques Ning Chuan displayed temporarily lost effectiveness, as if they lost magical force, having their Dao shaved off. His eyes glared with anger. What is going on? What happened? Everyone cried out in alarm. Ning Chuan's body grew dim, precious techniques all disappearing. Meanwhile, Shahao's radiance flourished, all types of precious techniques appearing. The Kuanpeng fist was truly domineering. When it descended, it carried an expanse of golden feathers, and there was also a boundless black sea surging. It was terrifying to the extreme. This fist's power flooded outwards, blasting Ning Chuan until he flew outwards. He lost the protection of natural laws and precious techniques, taking this attack forcefully with his flesh, relying on his fists and other parts to block this attack. He first spat out a large mouthful of blood, and then the sound of bones fracturing continuously sounded. His body almost exploded, suffering serious damage from this attack. Shahao raised his hand. A golden willow tree appeared behind him, and then along with the display of his secret technique, hundreds of golden divine chains of order flew out. Pu sounds rang out, some of them impaling Ning Chuan's body, causing his entire body to bleed. The scene was too horrifying. Heavens, what is going on? Why did Ning Chuan suddenly lose? Many people cried out in alarm. Ning Chuan's eyes were ice cold, doing everything he could to resist. More than 10 bloody holes appeared on his body. Even though he struggled free, this injured his foundation, the wounds truly severe. Kill! Shahao roared. Like a heavenly horse leaping over the moon, he already arrived, a foot trampling downwards. Lightning erupted endlessly, as he stamped down towards Ning Chuan. This time, he displayed the Lightning Emperor's precious technique. 5-colored thunder hacked down. Ning Chuan's white clothes were burned to ashes, the crown of his head struck with lightning. If not for his arms protecting it, he would have most likely been in danger. Despite this, his powerful flesh was still damaged, scorched black and cracking. His bones were fractured and muscles torn, his condition extremely terrible. Yunxi just happened to rush over. Just like many people, when she saw this scene, she was incomparably shocked. Was Ning Chuan being suppressed and beaten by Huang? Huang, you've angered everyone. Ning Chuan roared. His left arm was shining, becoming sparkling and resplendent. It was accompanied by immortal energy and immortal light. The fluctuations it released went from weak to powerful, becoming terrifying to the extreme. Everyone became shocked, including sect masters and others. The magical immunity was actually broken. Shahao's mind was shaken. What was that? True immortal hand bone. Someone cried out in alarm. Everyone could clearly sense that immortal Dao aura. That hand of his was special, immediately becoming transparent. The bones inside swelled with immortal light, the power world shaking. It was precisely because of this that the hand bone revived, forcefully breaking Shahao's magical immunity state. Ning Chuan pressed his palm forward. His body was trembling, the entire arm contorting, moreover releasing a catcher sound. It unexpectedly broke. Using this hand bone placed an unimaginable burden on him. It was because he was forcefully using immortal Dao power. This wasn't an ordinary true immortal bone, within it was condensed the most primitive, most powerful imprint. Otherwise, how could it display this type of power? Everyone shivered inwardly. Heaven and earth shattered, not much able to stop it. Even sect masters' expressions changed. This place became nothingness, returning to primal chaos. Shahao moved away. His speed was too fast. He sensed the aura of danger, a single warp bringing him to the edge of the horizon. Ning Chuan, hand over your life. Then, he circled his way back, attacking Ning Chuan murderously. It was because he already saw that this hand bone was too tyrannical, even Ning Chuan, who was powerful to this extent, finding it difficult to operate. At this moment, Ning Chuan's face was snow white, his entire body's spiritual essence almost sucked dry. That arm's bones were broken at several places. He released a sigh. After crossing tribulation today, he still hadn't solidified his cultivation. He was careless during this intense battle, putting him at a disadvantage, one mistake after another. He had to leave. Otherwise, he might be killed by Huang. He supported the true immortal hand bone again. It blasted through heaven and earth, tearing through the void. It was useless even if sect masters sealed down the void. One could imagine just how unordinary this hand bone was. The only flaw was that its consumption of divine force and Tao was too great, and the burden it placed on the body was too much. For the sake of activating that hand bone, his own arm was even broken. You won't be able to leave. Shahao followed, chasing after him to hunt him down. That day, Immortal Ancient was shaken up. Huang chased after Six Crown King, leaving all sides greatly shocked. All eyes were focused on this matter. He finally reached that step, able to sweep through Immortal Ancient. Some of the geniuses of the 3,000 provinces released a sigh of admiration. Even Ning Chuan was defeated, running like this, so who could match Huang? Who could stop his footsteps? Ning Chuan continued running, finding it hard to calm down. He was filled with rage. This was the first time he had to run away from a cultivator at the same level as him, an utter humiliation. Six Crown King lost. He was injured by Huang like this, forced to run, I can't believe it. White-clothed Ning Chuan, undefeated legend, he lost today, suffering a defeat. It truly is regretful. Many people were discussing behind them. This place had already erupted into chaos. This battle shocked all sides, all geniuses from the 3,000 provinces shaken up. Huge waves were stirred up. What kind of figure was Ning Chuan? He overlooked all experts from past to present, those of the same level unable to defy him. He dominated 6 worlds. Who at his level could compete against him? Today, he was defeated. It was as if inscribed steely collapsed, making others release long sighs, at the same time feeling a bit of disappointment. The white-clothed legend was going to end here. Quite a few people who felt respect towards Six Crown King now felt extremely uncomfortable. However, what they saw was reality. Those two left, one chasing the other, disappearing from everyone's view. Previously, Ning Chuan coughed out blood, receiving serious injuries. Anyone with eyes could see this. Chase. The sect masters all moved out, chasing after them. Lightning Tribulation Liquid was where all of their hopes rested on, so they couldn't allow it to be lost. The 8-armed Soul Race's ancient ancestor, Beauty Race's clan elder and the others were comparatively better off, already having their curses neutralized, now just showing consideration for their clansmen. However, the other side's Silver Blood Devil Tree, Rainbow Giant Tiger and others' eyes were already red, chasing after the two. Unfortunately, their numbers were smaller, not a match for the 8-armed Soul Race's ancient ancestor and others. Eventually, a sect master on Ning Chuan's side was killed. It was because Shahao's side had the numbers advantage. With all of them taking action together, who could stop them? Ning Chuan, where are you going? Inside a certain small world, Shahao and Ning Chuan rushed out from the void, exchanging attacks in this world. Ning Chuan wanted to use the immortal bone and slap Shahao to death, but the consumption was too great. Moreover, that ferocious attack might not necessarily hit his opponent. As a result, after thinking it over, he could only run. Only, how could Shahao give him this chance? He tangled about, killing intent surging, chasing him relentlessly. Shahao raised his hand, his palm shining. An expanse of lightning rushed out, striking forward. Ning Chuan's body trembled. No matter how fast he wasn't faster than lightning. His entire body trembled greatly, body charred black. He was angered to the extreme. "You can't run!" Shahao shouted. Ning Chuan became more and more angered. For all of his life as a cultivator, the word run was rarely associated with him, but today, this was reality. He could only run to treat his injuries. Several dozen willow branches rushed out, golden light shining resplendently. It was as if several dozen golden divine chains pierced through the void, penetrating Ning Chuan's back with pu-pu sounds. He staggered, releasing a loud cry. There were a few bloody holes that ran through his body, but he didn't turn around, still running. "Ning Chuan, don't you feel like this is a type of humiliation? Do you dare fight a decisive battle against me or not?" Shahao roared. Suddenly, when Shahao got closer, Ning Chuan turned around, releasing an attack again. His hand became sparkling and translucent, releasing brilliant radiance, the bones in his flesh clearly visible. Immortal light flew out, the aura terrifying. That palm slapped towards Shahao. This time, Shahao still dodged, but he also took action, producing the 10,000 spirit diagram to resist the fluctuations. It was stopped. Shahao was shocked and happy. Shahao left behind an afterimage in his original spot. With the 10,000 spirit diagram in hand, he cut through the multicolored light surging over, rushing forward fiercely. He produced a fist imprint, smashing it forward. Blood sprayed out from Ning Chuan's mouth. His body trembled, because the imprint seemed like one sent from an ascended immortal, appearing extremely quickly, smashing into his chest. This left him shocked. Huang actually went against the power the immortal Dao hand bone released as he rushed over. This was a bit outrageous. It was precisely because of this that he received serious damage again. Ning Chuan's chest was blasted through by the fist imprint. Blood poured out like a fountain, surging without end, forming a dark red expanse. It was extremely terrifying. Moreover, several of his chest bones were broken, a large bloody hole appearing in his chest, one that was connected straight from front to back. 6 Dao Supreme Being Bracelet. Ning Chuan said softly, producing a bracelet. They were all sparkling. This was his supreme treasure. He appeared 6 times, the precious bones of the most powerful enemies he killed each time left behind. Only after saving them for 6 eras, did he obtain 6 most powerful Supreme Being True Bones. After refining it for many years, this Supreme Being Bracelet became unimaginably powerful. It was because they weren't dead, still possessing life force, coexisting with Ning Chuan's flesh, growing all this time. One could imagine what kind of terrifying might would be produced if 6 types of Supreme Being Precious techniques were activated at the same time. The expression on Shahao's face changed, moving out of the way. Heaven and earth itself seemed to have been blasted through. Shahao sucked in a cold breath of air. He previously obtained a secondary bracelet. It now seemed too far away from the main bracelet, the 2 items power not things that could even be mentioned in the same breath. You are researching the 6 Dao reincarnation's heavenly art, using this bracelet to study it. Shahao's expression moved. He was shaken up until his blood and qi surged. Those 6 precious techniques almost hit him. Ning Chuan didn't say anything, his eyes ice cold. After releasing this attack, he began to flee for his life again. Shahao unleashed his single heavenly passage. Immediately afterwards, his reincarnation technique, Heaven Calamity Light, Lightning Emperor Secret Technique, Willow Deity Precious Technique, and others all appeared, carved into the single heavenly passage. The radiance produced dazzling. He chased after Ning Chuan again. When the 2 exchanged attacks, Shahao's single heavenly passage shone brilliantly. It was as if a great golden bell was rumbling, many bone texts appearing on this bell wall, for example, the Kuan Peng, Lightning Emperor, Reincarnation, and others. These were the embodiments of his precious techniques. When the 6 Dao Supreme Being Bracelet smashed into Shahao's heavenly passage, it was as if thunder crashed down, rumbling without end. Ning Chuan coughed out blood, once again fleeing towards the distance. It was because he was injured, his injuries much worse than Shahao's. If he continued fighting like this, he would become more and more on the defensive, and eventually be killed. In the end, Ning Chuan used the immortal Dao hand bone again. He didn't slap it towards Shahao, instead aiming it at the crack that appeared in Immortal Ancient. A huge explosion resulted. The heavens was about to explode, that great crack releasing divine law radiance. It was terrifying to the extreme. The great crack was opening up, becoming larger and larger. This heaven and earth were about to be torn open. Not good, the sect masters of the outside world are going to enter. Soon after, someone cried out loudly. That immortal Dao hand bone sped up the widening of this crack. Not good, there are weapons of sect masters that directly flew inside. They really are going to slaughter their way into immortal ancient. The news that could be heard along the way were extremely bad for Shahao. Suddenly, a great quaking erupted. That great crack exploded, shaking up immortal ancient. Right at that place, someone was attacking it from the outside. However, that crack quickly closed again, forcefully closed by natural laws. Only, Shahao clearly saw a few figures just now. A few sect masters were right outside. Ning Chuan took action, this time, incomparably berserk, not sparing any cost, allowing his own muscles and bones to tear and snap. He still activated the immortal Dao hand bone, while those outside were also attacking. This time, when the crack appeared, Ning Chuan rushed out without any hesitation. Shahao cried out loudly. This was bad. This place wasn't far from the opening earlier. It was extremely fragile. Today, Ning Chuan successfully broke out. Shahao turned around to leave, searching for the sect masters in Immortal Ancient. Time was too pressing. He knew that Immortal Ancient was going to split apart, the sect masters outside about to rush in. Finally, he found the 8-armed Soul Race's ancient ancestor and others. They quickly returned to Soul Island. Shahao didn't beat around the bush, quickly producing the lightning tribulation liquid. He took a bit himself, and then he began to distribute it. This time, 4 sect masters he didn't recognize were invited over. They accepted Shahao's lightning tribulation liquid excitedly, immediately drinking it, and then sat down to neutralize the curse. Together with the 5 sect masters that had freed themselves previously, they now had 9 sect masters on their side. This was a great gathering of power. With so many sect masters together, Shahao immediately felt some more confidence. With these sect masters, he should be able to make his way out. As long as he could make it through the openings trial, he wouldn't have to fear anything else. Suddenly, a tremendous sound rang out. It was as if the sky and earth were flipped upside down, rubble flying into the air. That noise was too loud, all of Immortal Ancient remains shaken up, then rumbling violently. At this moment, great Tao natural laws all appeared, expanses of bone texts interweaving. That great void crack finally exploded. Immortal Ancient was linked up with the outside world. Those outside are entering. A great shout sounded, shaking up everyone. In reality, this was the case for every place. The natives were all terrified. Their calm lifestyle was shattered, now intersecting with the 3,000 provinces. Heaven and earth trembled violently, the void splitting apart. There were experts that charged in. Immortal Ancient could not stop the footsteps of the sect masters of the outside world at all. Seniors, please lend me a helping hand in leaving Immortal Ancient. Shahao said. Suddenly Shahao became shocked. He was swept through by a streak of light, immediately disappearing from the 9 great sect masters' faces. Little friend. Little brother. The 9 of them were shocked. Did someone take action? Something was wrong. They were completely stunned, because this type of radiance was everywhere in Immortal Ancient. They all rushed up, bringing the geniuses of the 3,000 provinces away from this place. 3,000 great Tao flower petals sent all of the surviving geniuses out. They are leaving to where they came from. Soon after, they realized that Immortal Ancient's training had concluded. Those 3,000 great Tao flower petals shone, sending all of the cultivators they brought in back out. Huang, where is he? Quickly come out and accept death. The people outside entered Immortal Ancient, with someone immediately starting to look for Huang, wishing to kill him. Soon after, the sect masters that came and the heavenly deities all noticed this scene. Streak after streak of light swept over, wrapping around the cultivators of the 3,000 provinces and disappearing. There were some that rushed into Immortal Ancient's depths in search of natural luck and opportunities. There were some others that immediately withdrew, rushing towards the 3,000 great Tao flower petals. Their reactions were too fast. As sect masters, their strength were incredibly terrifying. As soon as Shahao and the others rushed out from the doors formed from the immortal Tao flower petals, intense fluctuations immediately sounded all around them. A group of sect masters and others descended. These people were too frightening, able to travel unhindered under the sky. They could cross endless distance in an instant, not being slower than the geniuses who came out from the immortal Tao flower petals. In that instant, someone locked down heaven and earth, imprisoning the void, stopping everyone from leaving. It was because the sect masters of the outside world knew that some people obtained great natural luck and were mixed in the crowd. Of course, the main objective of those who rushed here was still to capture Huang. He had on him the immortal seed, the immortal scripture, defying dragon scale, and other things. They couldn't let him go. Apart from this, a few great sects hated him bitterly, coming here just to kill him. Huang, you can't escape. I want to see who will save you. Someone said coldly from far above. Sect master pressure released, shaking up all sides. Great mountains towered one after another, endless ancient trees reaching into the skies. There was a great savage feeling that filled this place. This was the uninhabited region, a place of danger and mysteries. Many great peaks seemed to touch the sky, clouds swirling around them. There were some old vines that were as thick as mountain ridges, winding about mountain peaks one after another. Currently, the immortal Dao flowers were brilliant, 3,000 flower petals swirling with auspicious light, every single leaf a door that connected to immortal ancient. The atmosphere was nervous. The geniuses of the 3,000 realms all came out, returning along the path they entered from. Not far away from them, sect masters descended one after another, locking up this place. Where is Huang? There were geniuses that said softly. Since the sect masters all came for him, they shouldn't trouble the others, right? Wu, it's my great Peng race's descendant. Hurry and come over. A great golden winged Peng gestured towards a youngster. Iron blood divine tree race's descendants, all of you come to where I am. An old tree also spoke, calling the geniuses of that clan. In that instant, many geniuses were guided away, returning to their seniors. They all released a sigh of relief. Of course, during this process, there were many powerful divine wills that swept over. They were searching about, seeing if they had any issues, scanning them one by one. Everyone knew that these sect masters came mainly for Shahao. Where was Huang? Everyone looked at the crowd, wishing to find him. Suddenly, a gloomy mist appeared. Then, an endless sea of departed spirits surged, drowning out this place, disturbing the peace of heaven and earth. This place overflowed with black mist, chilly winds whistled angrily. The sea of departed souls roared, surrounded by a deathly aura. 10 Crown King. A genius cried out in alarm, but his voice came to a grunting stop, exploding from a slap. 10 Crown King took action. He was also fearful of the sect masters plotting, because he had immortal ancient scriptures on him, obtaining natural luck. He produced a spatial magical artifact, producing this sea of departed spirits. Immediately afterwards, the great earth was torn apart, the void shattered. The exiled immortal also took action. In his hand was the heavenly horned ant single horn. It tore through the void, fleeing into the distance. Even though there were sect masters imprisoning the void, this horn could still break through. At this moment, many geniuses rose up, borrowing the chaos to escape. Only, many of these people were destined for disappointment. Several large hands moved through the void, stopping them, a few grabbed on the spot. Shahao held the 10,000 spirit diagram in one hand, the other holding the defying dragon scale, taking precautions. He stood in the black mist, also moving about, preparing to escape. He originally wanted to borrow the sect master's strength to flee from this place, but he was unexpectedly transported here. A figure appeared not far out, blue hair falling down onto his shoulder, body tall and slender, build strong. His face was sinister and handsome, a pair of eyes moving about intelligently. He was also moving carefully. Shahao ended up together with him, the two of them giving each other a smile. However, their smile quickly froze. You are Huang. You are that dragon poop man. When these two voices sounded, both of their expressions became ugly. It was because they knew that the other person had cultivated heavenly eyes, able to see through their true bodies. Shahao frowned. At this moment, he truly felt the urge to kill as to prevent his identity from being leaked. It was difficult even for sect masters to cultivate heavenly eyes. This was something unrelated to cultivation realms, purely relying on talent. This fella actually cultivated it, definitely unordinary. Hello, brother, that the dragon showed concern for. Shahao greeted. He naturally recognized this person. This was a heavenly evil, his strength world shocking. All those that had titles like Heavenly Evil and Heavenly Monarch were definitely heaven-defying. Normal people wouldn't dare take on this type of title. Back then, when Immortal Ancient had first opened, this Heavenly Evil, due to his greed, ended up having dragon poop rained down on him, his entire body buried below. It was hard for Shahao to forget even if he wanted to. In reality, back then, many people were shocked, not daring to believe that scene. On the other side, that blue-haired male's face fell, his face distorting, almost erupting with a string of curses, truly angered by Shahao. Shut the fuck up. The blue-haired male's sinister and handsome face was covered in cold frost. Ji Qian's face was bright red. Back then, he truly was unlucky to the extreme, targeted by a dragon, that lump of dragon poop driving him mad. He truly wanted to knock it down and kill it. Now, someone brought up the past, truly making the veins on his forehead jump. Hand over the immortal Tao scripture you obtained. Heavenly evil Ji Qian said. Why should I? If you don't give it to me, I'll immediately scream that Huang is here. Heavenly evil Ji Qian said while snickering. The dragon poop man is here, he has an immortal Tao scripture in hand. Shahao screamed. Then, he activated a golden realm shattering symbol, directly leaving through the opening the exiled immortal tore open. This was a divine symbol those sect masters worked together to refine for him, more powerful than normal realm shattering symbols, its power incomparable, terrifying to the extreme. It wasn't enough even if sect masters locked down the heaven and earth. Huang, you dare harm me? Heavenly evil Ji Qian roared with anger. Several large hands reached down, divine might matchless, aura surging like stellar rivers. Suddenly a draconic cry sounded, the roar echoing through this place. Winged dragon. That terrifying winged dragon from the past appeared again. The sect masters here immediately shivered inwardly. This dragon was too powerful, his blood energy overflowing like a great sea. Moreover, there were some powerful creatures behind him, for example, the Yazi, nine-headed bird, and others, not a single one of the kind sort. They all came from the uninhabited region's depths. Heaven and earth collapsed, ghosts wept and deities howled. This entire place erupted. Heavenly evil Ji Qian was grabbed, and there were other geniuses that ended up in the dragon's claws as well. You dare? Let go of my clan's disciple. A sect master roared. The horned dragon arrived. It originally wanted to slaughter its way into Immortal Ancient, but now, it changed its mind, deciding to intercept the geniuses and seize natural luck from their hands. Powerful creatures from the Forbidden Region appeared, throwing this entire place into disorder. A great battle erupted. In the distance, Shahao borrowed the Golden Realm shattering symbol to flee far into the distance. However, his body suddenly trembled. The void shattered and he fell out. He was shocked. A mysterious formation severed space, stopping everyone who wanted to escape. This person is Huang. Someone cried out in alarm. Then, he immediately became excited, roaring with laughter. When Shahao raised his hand, he already saw several dozen geniuses were cut off, all of them talents who were extremely sharp before, their methods ferocious, carrying strange mysterious treasures on them. They were cut off after they fled here. In reality, there were several dozen great formations in this region, all of them set up by sect masters for the sake of stopping those geniuses. It was because this was the last time Immortal Ancient was opening, and the final great natural luck was appearing. That was why these sect masters didn't spare any expenses, using endless heavenly materials to lay formations and stop these people. It really is Huang, we ran into him, ha, really unexpected. Truly great luck. Laughter sounded continuously. They didn't have heavenly eyes, but there was someone who was quite good at sensing one's soul, recognizing that he was Shahao. His aura and fluctuations were completely the same. Huang ought to be handled by my clan. Dao brothers, do not interfere. Someone said. I was clearly the one that discovered him, so Dao brothers, please let go and let me bring Huang away. Someone else said. Shahao's expression became unpleasant. What did these people treat him as? He wasn't even suppressed yet, but they were already fighting over him. Did they really believe he was like captured prey? Ha, masters of little sects like you all might not even be that much stronger than Huang. I think it's still better if you hand Huang over to me. Someone walked over, an enormous white tiger. Huang is here, he appeared. A heavenly deity shouted, transmitting into the distance. The void shattered. There were immediately several large hands that reached over, grabbing towards those below. Then, their true bodies came over. Several individuals clashed, trading a few blows. Ha, an elder among them laughed loudly, his body dried up, skin wrinkled like old tree bark. His hair had pretty much all fallen off. Even though he was laughing, his eyes were incredibly deep. On his head was a pair of black-colored bull horns, his aura astonishing. He was Celestial Clan's Tao protector. In the past, he had previously taken action against Shahao. He was first defeated by Peacock Clan's Divine Lord, and then he had his pair of bull horns removed by Qi Daolin, inflicting serious injuries. Now, he came again. Huang, I really managed to hold on until you came out. The heavens have opened their eyes, allowing me to eliminate my clan's future misfortune. Ha ha ha, he was incredibly happy. Shahao didn't expect that he would be among the first experts to rush here. His eyes became ice cold, glaring at this elder. Wasn't an old thing like you going to die in meditation? Why are you still alive? Shahao said. He naturally didn't have any good things to say. In the past, he had escorted Yun Shi for tens of thousands of li, fighting intensely against the war clan, blood dyeing his battle clothes, showing this type of kindness to the Celestial Clan, yet in the end, he was captured in the City of Heaven, treated as a prisoner. Not only did they slander and humiliate him, he almost died in that black prison. Shahao didn't wrong them, and it could be said that he actually did them a great favor, but this clan bit the hand that fed them. After all these years had passed, they unexpectedly came again. The heavens pitied me, giving me a chance, allowing me to eliminate you and leave this world without worries. Celestial Clan's Tao Protector said. You can even shout such shameless words. Look into your consciousness and ask yourself, if I did anything to wrong your Celestial Clan. Shahao berated. Perhaps you did show our Celestial Clan a bit of grace, but now, you must be killed. If you are allowed to grow up, the Celestial Clan will be in danger. For the sake of protecting the Celestial Clan, you should still just die. So-called kindness, grace, you should just discuss it with others in your next life. The lips of Celestial Clan's Tao Protector opened and closed, secretly transmitting sound, smiling coldly. Shameless old thing. What else could Shahao say? Blood surged, his mind filled with anger. He truly wanted to immediately kill him. Celestial Clan's Tao brother, your age is too great, there is no need to move. Either way, you only want him dead, so just hand him over to me. Someone spoke. Heavenly Country's Vice Sect Master arrived. In addition, a war chariot rumbled in the distance, blood trickling out. Heavenly Country's Sect Master was fighting intensely against the winged dragon, and when that was done, he would hurry over. Shahao stared at them, his heart extremely cold. Ghost Grandpa in the lower realm had been plotted against by Heavenly Country's people, killed, and now, he was also tangling with this sect. There was a grudge between the two that could not be dissolved. Cold air blew about, a white bone mountain descending. At the very top sat a male, his skin snow-white, grey hair scattered about, complexion morbid. However, who dared look down on this person? Underworld Lord arrived. Huang, a junior like you have startled my clan's lord. Not even death is enough. Someone from Underworld Clan shouted. Holy Sacrifice Realm, not bad. Having this type of cultivation at your age, talent is truly world-shaking. However, so what? Underworld Lord said, his voice calm. As long as you don't reach our level of power, you will eventually return to the earth. So what if you shock past and present? I can kill you with a single finger. Tao brother, you only need his corpse, so hand the living person to us first. Someone laughed loudly. Sword Valley, Fire Cloud Cavern and Phantom Drake Tao Gates people walked over. There were people in all directions, powerful sect masters overseeing this place, making Shahao fall into a dangerous situation. How was he supposed to escape now? In another direction, multicolored light flowered like a great river, accompanied by tens of thousands of types of Tao fragments. Chaotic energy surged, causing everyone to cry out in alarm. World Tree Sapling. Even sect masters' hearts were moved, a few of them carrying looks of joy, swooping over. They knew that was 10 Crown King. However, the heaven and earth all shattered, opening a terrifying passage. 10 Crown King's little tree broke through everyone's restrictions, wishing to escape. That little tree was too terrifying, the Tao laws it released not any inferior to Ning Chuan's immortal hand bone, making all sect masters feel endless restraining fear. The most important thing was that the world tree could neutralize formations. 10 Crown King was unexpectedly going to break free. You won't be able to leave. Someone shouted loudly, a large claw slapping down, wishing to forcibly seize the world tree. Beast seize Lord. Someone cried out in shock. That was the Lord of 10,000 beasts, an extremely powerful individual. He unexpectedly came as well, targeting the world tree sapling. What if this old one wishes to bring him away? Someone else said coldly. A snow-white stone archbridge appeared, traveling over the tens of formations and reaching here. A gentle power carried 10 Crown King onto the bridge. Emperor clan. Someone cried out in alarm. That was someone from the present-age Emperor clan, unexpectedly appearing like this, directly bringing 10 Crown King away. It seemed like the relationship between the two was quite good. Does this mean that 10 Crown King came from an Emperor clan? With a sure sound, that stone bridge disappeared just as fast as it came, vanishing in an instant. Even if someone wanted to stop it, they still couldn't. It was just too fast. However, how many dared to provoke them? The present world Emperor clan, that represented one of the greatest powers. Even Beast Sea's lord, the sect master known as the Sovereign of Beasts, didn't give chase. What a pity, a world tree sapling was brought away just like that. However, only the present age's Emperor clan can protect him. Otherwise, normal people really wouldn't be able to hold on to it. Everyone released a light sigh, feeling extremely unwilling. Then, the sect masters of this region targeted Shahao. There's not much that can be said. Junior, hand over the Jade Dao book, and then you'll be let off easy. Firecloud Cavern's elder said coldly. This was to humiliate him. With his strength, he could naturally suppress Shahao and then seize the immortal Dao scripture he held, but he was now actually demanding Shahao hand it over on his own. Old thing, don't try to feign importance just because you're old. In the end, I encountered quite a few disciples from Firecloud Cavern, but all of them were disgustingly lacking, moreover every single one of them insufferably arrogant, saying how they were going to suppress the sinner's blood descendant or whatever, laughable. Shahao wouldn't compromise, nor would he cower back. It was because even if he didn't fight back, the other party still wouldn't let him go. Especially Sword Valley, Firecloud Cavern, Luofu True Valley, Phantom Drake Dao Gate and others, they were all the most ancient great inheritances that had suppressed the sinner's bloodline all this time. How could they let him go? Interesting, just a trifling divine king, yet you believe your talents are enough to travel unhindered under the skies. You are still far too lacking. Right at this moment, an elder became impatient, forcefully taking action. He was someone from Phantom Drake Dao Gate. A palm descended, as if an elder was disciplining unworthy heirs, pressing down from above. Dao friend, be a bit gentler, don't kill him too quickly. Celestial Clan's Dao Protector said. Shahao held the 10,000 spirit diagram in hand, defending himself. In that instant, 10,000 spirits surged, all types of walking beasts and divine birds surged, stopping this strike. Yi? Good stuff, what is this? Why is its defensive power so great? There were immediately people who were shocked, becoming more and more pleasantly surprised. This was a supreme treasure. Just hand it over. Celestial Clan's Dao Protector said with a cold laugh. His palm opened up, grabbing towards Shahao like picking up a little chick, wishing to deal with Shahao like this. Get lost. Shahao berated. His other hand activated the defying dragon scale, holding it in front of him. A dragon figure surged, holy light covering the sun. A violent clash erupted, everything in front of Shahao surging. If not for the 10,000 spirit diagram shining, all types of creatures protecting him, he would have definitely been crushed to death here. Don't ruin my underworld heaven warping divine corpse. In the void, on a white bone mountain, Underworld Lord said coldly. In his eyes, Shahao was already a corpse, inevitably buried in underworld earth. In the future, there would be a terrifying creature with 3 strands of immortal energy who would awaken. You are Huang. A berating voice sounded. Divine Temple's people arrived. This was a middle-aged man, who was incredibly dignified like a lord of deities. He overlooked Shahao. I killed ancient holy child. Do you want revenge? If you don't want any face, then just come. Shahao said directly. Even with a group of sect masters all around him, he was still fearless, let alone acting weak. It was because even if he cowered, there was no good end. He was better off just doing as he wished, not wronging himself. How daring. How many years has it been since someone spoke to me like this? Divine Temple's expert's voice was ice cold. Shahao sighed inwardly. His preparations weren't enough for these changes. He already roped in 9 sect masters to help him leave Immortal Ancient, never expecting that the immortal Dao flower petals would directly bring him away. His body was now in a dangerous situation. How was he supposed to escape? He didn't have a world tree sapling, difficult for him to break out of these formations and create a passage. The 10,000 spirit diagram, despite being extraordinary, could only passively defend. If I didn't see incorrectly, that is a portion of the true primordial record, 10,000 spirit diagram. Right at that moment, Western Sect's sect master also arrived, his 6-jong golden body imposing and magnificent. Turns out to be the supreme treasure. Good, good, good. Someone laughed loudly and said, he has the 10,000 spirit diagram, immortal seed, jade book, everlasting immortal sword, and his corpse is even targeted by underworld clan. Like this, there are enough good things to divide among us. Stop wasting time, just send him on his way. Celestial Clan's Dao Protector took action again. He feared that something unexpected might happen if things were dragged on, truly wishing to immediately end Shahao's life. In that instant, several large hands reached over, suppressing Shahao below. The 10,000 spirit diagram was sparkling white, producing all types of ancient beasts and divine birds. They roared, splitting heaven and earth, resisting those great hands. Shahao coughed out large amounts of blood, almost exploding on the spot. Even though the 10,000 spirit diagram was extraordinary, in the end, he still wasn't a sect master. Even with such a powerful supreme treasure, he still received heavenly injuries from these individuals' boundless fluctuations. Shahao turned into a streak of flowing light, quickly running, using the 10,000 spirit diagram to protect himself, opening up a void passage. However, the formation shone, cutting off his path ahead. He was quickly stopped again. The sect masters behind him were all extremely calm, not fearing that he might get away at all. It was because they already knew that he had no chance. A large hand reached out. Underworld Lord took action, his snow-white palm carrying black mists, shattering heaven and earth, sending Shahao flying once again. With a WA sound, a large mouthful of blood was sprayed out. Not bad, this flesh is extremely strong, the most powerful body I've seen in his cultivation realm. In the future, it will definitely be an unmatched great corpse. Underworld Lord commented. He was extremely carefree. This strike was only to size up Shahao's strength. This was extremely humiliating, treating Shahao like goods, as if he was being picked out from a batch. Enough, stop wasting time, and just slap him to death in one go as to avoid leaving behind a disaster. Luofu True Valley's elder spoke. They suppressed the sinner's bloodline, so they definitely couldn't allow this later generation genius to rise up. This palm slapped over, splitting apart heaven and earth. If not for the 10,000 spirit diagram shining, Shahao would have directly turned into bloody paste, not having a chance to live at all. He coughed out a large mouthful of blood, his entire body flying outwards. Shahao was angered to the extreme. His hand shone, an ancient talisman appearing in his hand. It was deep and immeasurable, something that he discovered back then by the three-world coffin. At that time, he obtained many ancient symbols, only, he had no idea what type of use this one had, always carefully holding onto it. At this time, he didn't hold back anymore, activating it. A penetrating divine light flew out, and then with a pu sound, it blasted through Luofu True Valley's elder. Blood splashed everywhere, making him release a great cry. What? Everyone became stupefied. This change was too sudden. It was just a younger generation, yet he seriously injured a glorious sect master. Shahao was also shocked. This ancient talisman was strange after all. He held it in his hand, carefully inspecting it. There was a crack that appeared on its surface, clearly because it was used once. Dao friend was too careless. Everyone, be more careful and kill him. Celestial Clan's Dao Protector said. Right at this time, Divine Temple's expert took action, operating the 9 heavens 10th earth scriptures. The great Dao sound flooded over towards Shahao like a sea, immediately blasting him, until blood came out from his 7 apertures. Shahao was about to activate the ancient symbol again, but there were others that took action, not wishing to fall behind. They wanted to directly seize the supreme treasures on him. This immediately placed Shahao in a life and death situation. He couldn't even withstand a single sect master, let alone several people rushing at him together. Shahao suffered serious injuries. His body flew outwards, blood dyeing his body red. A metal sound rang out. Shahao was shaken up by the formless sword energy of Sword Valley's expert, his body now covered in cracks. Celestial Clan's Tao protector laughed loudly, the bull horns on his head shining, sweeping through Shahao, making his bones all break. Then, Underworld Clan, Beast Sea, Sun God Palace, Demonic Sunflower Garden, and other sex experts moved, desiring Shahao and his precious artifacts. This 10,000 spirit diagram is a great treasure. I don't want anything else, just this bone. Someone shouted. It was because everyone saw that the 10,000 spirit diagram was truly extraordinary, its value priceless. This alone helped a holy sacrifice realm youngster hold on all this time, not dying, living until now. It was truly outrageous. Another fist imprint flew over, sending Shahao flying. He coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. Suddenly, violent fluctuations spread. Then, crackling and snapping sound rang through the air, a large number of people descending. What? That's Ming Han. No, that's my clan's exceptional talent. In that instant, the sect masters here were all furious. It was because large amounts of corpses fell from the skies, all of them their later generations. Who was this? It was too vicious, immediately offending everyone here. A few people's murderous intent overflowed into the heavens. Meanwhile at that time, a golden-robed elder who had white hair but youthful complexion, his outward appearance not bad at all appeared, descending from the heavens. Chi Daolin. Someone clenched their teeth, recognizing this notorious Dao master. Correct, it's me. Chi Daolin swept his eyes over everyone here. Did you all forget the words I said? You old bastards that still aren't dead dare try to kill my disciple, so I'm using your own methods right back, wiping out those elite disciples of your clans. Chi Daolin spoke in a tyrannical manner, his eyes staring at everyone here. Just you alone, yet you dare show yourself. Right at this moment, a bronze immortal palace trembled, this shout sounding. There is also me. At this moment, golden wings covered heaven and earth. A creature that was 10,000 zhong tall appeared, accompanied by chaotic energy, towering between heaven and earth. Undying existence. Everyone cried out in alarm. I've already said before that whoever dares to touch Huang, whoever I will kill. The undying existence shouted, possessing a world-shaking domineeringness. He loosened his large hand, and then a group of heavenly deity corpses fell, all of them experts from different clans, killed by him in passing just now. Part 1 end here.